around the edge before we can get this match underway. Ben Thaler is the video referee here tonight as well. So if and when, we say if and when, but these days it's when, isn't it? Let's not kid ourselves. Sam Burgess, well, plenty on his mind here tonight. A lot of talk about his future, of course, in this past week. But he'll be very much concentrating on what his side can do, as will that fella, Willie Peters. Is this the year that they deliver a trophy after that 40-year drought? Well, they're well placed in one final against tonight's opponents, and they're well placed to lead the charge for a grand final, a repeat grand final, with the way their season's going so far. Artemore puts boot to ball to get us underway. Stefan Ratchford catches this, and Philbin will lead the charge straight back into the heart of those Hull Kingston Rovers defenders.
Well, there's a carry with intent. Or perhaps Philbin taking it on as the ball's moved out here early doors to Dufty.
Well, they're coming wide early, aren't they? Talking in the build-up about not a mismatch, but the fact that Hull Kingston Rovers probably have the advantage in the forward pack. Maybe that is a route they will seek tonight, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure. This Hull KR team are going great guns at the moment. Ratchford out to Dufty. There's a 3-on-2 here, but well met.
Dufty trying to put the skids on, but still maintained well inside their own half here, Warrington, as they come towards the back end of this opening set. Looking to deliver a kick here from Ratchford, who gets it away. Great spin on that as well, which makes it difficult for Morg to deal with. A little more difficult for Morg to deal with, but he has. And Warrington's defence showing intent here. Look at that. 12 metres gained, 12 metres lost.
Yeah, they've certainly started with the right attitude. Philbin with the carry, and then in that action there defensively, 3 numbers in the tackle, just really trying to slow Hull KR down as they look to clear out of their own end. Quick jump here from Litton.
That's a really good point as well from JJB in the build-up, wasn't it? The fact that there are Warrington players here who are playing for potential Challenge Cup places.
Yeah, obviously Sam Burgess has got a lot of injuries at the moment, wrapping a few up in Cottonwool as well. There will be a chance to appear at Wembley in a couple of weeks' time.
Here's Minchella. Down he goes, Jez Litton just rocking up into dummy half. Lewis now off the left foot. They advance towards him, but Lewis still got a decent kick away and carried in by Josh Dewlis. Well, the Warrington fans not happy with the way he was dealt with, but the referee sees nothing wrong and Ty takes it in. Jenna Brooks, how are you down on the touchline?
I am fantastic, Dave. However, Sam Burgess has almost half a team on the sidelines through injury. I managed to speak to a number of the players missing. You've got George Williams there, where he's targeting a return for Wembley. That ankle injury keeps him out. His halfback partner, Mark Sneed, just a knock, nothing sinister. If it was Wembley this week, then he would be able to play. You've got Paul Vaughan. He was a guest on our podcast, The Bench, today. He is also targeting a return for Wembley. Perhaps he'll be back as early as next week when they take on Castleford. That's on Friday. Sam Powell, he's just played a number of minutes, so he's just having a well-earned rest. Toby King, being told a minor chronic leg injury. He needs some rest here and there. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, his rib injury. He might be back next week, but should be back in time for Wembley for sure. Danny Walker, 12 weeks out with a knee injury. And, of course, Matty Ashton, well, he is out for the season.
It's quite a list, isn't it? Quite a list of players not available tonight, but as Jenna says, hopefully some of those back for the final. Shows the potency of Hull Kingston Rovers, what they can do in the early stages of the game. As you can see there, they have scored 10 tries in the opening 10 minutes, top of the tree in that regard. And here's Hadley trying to conjure up an offload. They're on to the last one. Litton spinning it left. And up off the boot again of Mikey Lewis, and Dufty underneath it, but they're advancing menacingly, those defenders, and Dufty, for all his skills and speed, just gets to the 10-metre mark and no further. And Dewlis now looking to carry on again, but lateral for negative reasons there from Warrington. And it's a penalty. Too much hanging on, too much going on in the tackle. Penalty goes Warrington's way. Yeah,
there was a couple of cries for a penalty on a couple of players earlier. His home crowd right on top of the referee's back, but in the end he just sees too much there. Penalty given away. is disappointing. Mikey Lewis's kick was inch perfect, landing just 2 metres shy of the line for Dufty to return. And 3 plays later, they give a penalty away, and Leyland just finds another 15-20 metres further up the field.
Not wanting to labour the point, but you've been in this situation, Kyle, in your career, 2 weeks away from one of the biggest days of your career. How much of a mental part does this play in this game tonight?
Well, I think for Hull KR, I don't think it really does a great deal at all. I love what Willie Peters was saying about his mindset of comparing, you know, the teams that played against Wigan and the teams, you know, hampered with injuries or rotations. He's building this mindset to really go after every single game. But for the Wolves, we've already mentioned there's an opportunity for places, and that's the carrot for them.
Yeah. Crowther. Likely dummy half, of course. That's the position he's playing tonight. Curry with the ball away, and Luke Yates comes smashing into that. But Hull Kingston Rovers just rounding him up, stopping him on the gallop. Crowther again. Here's Leyland. He's being sought by Sue, but his kick is high, and there's Morg. And Hull Kingston Rovers get another chance with the ball here from very much deep inside their own half. So Asa Sue, by the way, he's standing about 20 metres further downfield. He's making no effort whatsoever to get behind the play the ball. And he didn't need to, because there he is, strolling back now. Stroll back into position. Conserving energy, I think, is what they call it, but a penalty for Hull Kingston Rovers.
Roddy Crowther, we saw one earlier, didn't we? With Warrington with ball in hand. Too much messing around at the play of the ball. Well, he's consistent. Tom Davies wins the penalty, and Mikey Lewis will just dump this ball on to Tyrone May, to Hadley, and they're inside Warrington's half here.
Hadley putting the thrusters on as each other hit that Warrington line, but it holds good, as you'd expect. Minchella and May, and cutting back on the inside again. It's taken by Whitbread, who gets up and plays, and Mikey Lewis goes scampering on again, just testing what might be in front of him. One of those was Crowther, who made sure that he was going no further, but they are getting deeper inside their opponent's territory here. Hiku trying to hold it up. No real chance of an offload. Certainly no chance of a break. It's back with May again. And Lewis drops it back, and Sue goes charging in. One play to go, right in front of the sticks, underneath the noses of those Hull Kingston Rovers supporters. Lewis goes left, tried to burst the line with a pass to Whitbread. He's lost the ball, and Warrington have it back.
Ollie Leyland with a big tackle there on the left edge back rower. Giant Whitbread. That attack amounts to nothing in the end, as Fewlis just tries to wrestle his way to find a play of the ball. See the shot there. Loses the ball before contact.
This is
tight. There's a mistake here.
Oh. Yeah, knock on, knock on. A look of bewilderment from Roderick Tye. Celebrations from those Hull Kingston Rovers players. Alan Moore saw it clearly.
Big mistake, you feel already. It's from Tye.
Well, there wasn't a hand in there, but I think Mikey Lewis's nose did a job, didn't it?
Yeah, he tried his very best.
Well, there you go. No wonder he looks confused. But it has given Hull Kingston Rovers another opportunity. Referee just cleaning things up at the scrum, making sure everything's as it should be. Lytton comes springing out, and look at this, they've got the numbers here straight away from this, and a chance for Burgess. Oh, he's caught high, is he? Yes, he is. The referee had a good look, and then he's given it. Dan Russell came across. Desperate attempt.
I mean, there's two parts of looking at this. One is it's a dead set try. If he doesn't make this play, but he catches him high.
Well, it's a penalty, and off they go again. It was a neat little scrum move, wasn't it? Because they instantly got those, or at least one extra man on that left-hand side. Warrington will be hopeful to be wise to that later in the game. Lytton. Now Minchella. May again. Lewis again. The step back on the inside, and this time there is a way through. Jack Broadbent crossing. They are keeping up that wonderful record of scoring in the opening 10 minutes. With 40-odd seconds to spare, they have their first try of the night.
Yeah, they do like to start quick. And it was the error from Roderick Tai that gifted them the field position. And then Jack Broadbent just slides over. And first of all, it was the error, sorry, from Tai, then the high tackle from Russell. Joe Burgess denied a certain try, but a couple of plays later, Mikey Lewis, just a soft, short ball, and that's a bad read from the centre, Roderick Tai. He has to make that tackle there. Broadbent does him for feet. Just snaps off his left foot and slides over for the first score of the evening, 4-0.
Well, you would say it's been an enthusiastic start by Warrington, wouldn't you? But that error, in inverted commas, from Roderick Tai, pounced upon.
Yeah, it was just, in the end, it was just too much for them to defend. They haven't been defending well at all. The average on 23 points they're conceding in 2025. And KR, you're right to mention that statistic of starting games quick and scoring points. There's Jack Broadbent, who gets it with Artie Morg with a kick 20 metres out.
Well, Ollie Gildart missing, obviously. One of those absent for Hull KR because of injury. What a start to the season he's had, by the way. But what a very able deputy Jack Broadbent is.
Oh, he's been brilliant, whether he's played at full-back, centre or wing. A real valuable squad player.
So Morg settles. Warrington fans doing their level best to try and put him off his concentration here. Just has one last glance and strolls up and strikes. Oh, the wind just pulled it slightly left. So it remains at 0 to Warrington, 4 for Hull Kings Rovers. There's a man who's living the dream. Neil Huxtall doesn't like the publicity. You can see him twitching on his seat. He's in the big screen. But what a job he's done. You know, you go all the way back to that Golden Point defeat against Salford, and even before that, and the way the club has developed under his stewardship, and others as well, of course.
Oh, it's a real good time to be a Hull KR fan right now. Everything just seems to be going so well on and off the field.
So Warrington find themselves behind, and Ratchford's kick rattled down, using the sticks as a bit of a problem created for Morg, but he did have it safely, and Hull KR find themselves back on that 10-metre line.
You talk about Jack Broadbent and his versatility. What about Dean Hadley? Starting again in the front row. Real workhorse is Hadley.
And the same enthusiasm being shown by Warrington in this defensive effort, just trying to keep Hull Kings Rovers penned as far downfield as they possibly can. Hadley again, looking to step away from the oncoming Philbin, but Philbin left his mark. One last play. Mikey Lewis, who kicks. Russell made contact, but I think it was all fair and square. It's a trap by Dufty, and Warrington win that battle in defence and earn themselves a starting position 10 from the half.
Yeah, but if you just look on the far side of the field, Dave, Ollie Leyland looks in all sorts of trouble, as I think he's looking to leave the field.
Well, there's another game tonight, of course, and it looks as though St Helens have made a fast start as well. 10 points to 0, they're leading Huddersfield. Saints could rocket up the table up to 4th with a win there tonight. Huddersfield, of course, yet to win at home this season. Here comes Philbin. Rattling a penalty for Warrington.
Offside. Oh, more. Just calling them out. You see, Peter Hicker, I think it was.
He's looking down there to see if Ollie Leyland's still on the field.
No, James Harrison's on, Dave.
Yeah. Well, that is a reshuffle for Warrington then, isn't it? In terms of how they adapt to this situation.
It looks like Ben Curry will drop into the halves. You see that Jack Broadbent score.
Well, he caught the elbow there. There was the injury. Was it Ollie Leyland caught the elbow? It was an accidental clash with Mikey Lewis, and I think that's what's caused the injury. But Warrington are in prime position. Geordie Crowther out of dummy half. Curry now brings it across, and the ball back on the inside. Minchella misses, and Dan Russell over, celebrates. Not had a lot of chance to do that of late. First try of the season, and boy is he a happy man, and so are they. Warrington with a response, they're level again.
Yeah, well, Ben Curry slotting into the halves over the injured Ollie Leyland, and his first touch of the ball down that end of the field. It's a lovely soft pass for the back rower, Dan Russell, to get his first score of the season. He gets in between Elliot Minchella and Mikey Lewis. Mikey Lewis gives up his inside shoulder, and Minchella, if we're going to talk about Roderick Ty's miss before, he's got to do a little bit better there. But it's 4-all.
Well, first try of his Warrington career, of course, as a new signing. And that'll be a moment for him to cherish.
Well, that'd be far too easy, though, for Willie Peters. The first real examination of Hull KR's line. And Dan Russell goes over.
Well, we had the pleasure of the company of the Minister of Sport for Papua New Guinea last night, didn't we? We listed some of the Papua New Guinean internationals currently plying their trade in Super League. I think we forgot about Dan Russell. I think we left him off the list. But it is an impressive list. And he has now become a Warrington try-scorer, forever in the books. And a chance for Thewlis to give Warrington the lead. Right in front of the sticks. Shouldn't miss this one. Doesn't miss this one. And Warrington ahead, 6-4.
Yeah, Thewlis, he doesn't miss many. It's his 13th that he's landed out of 16 attempts. And he adds 2 more points off the back of Russell's try. Well, Ben Curry, he just turns the corner, straightens up. Mikey Lewis goes. Dan Russell slides straight through.
Well, they are putting up a battle here. We knew they'd put up a battle, but they have a lead. 16 minutes very nearly played. Hulkingston Rovers very close to full strength. Warrington a long way from it. But Hull KR not having their own way here as it stands. There's Crowther. Ratchford again just inviting the run of Philbin to come crashing in. A lot of work on Stefan's shoulders now, isn't there? In the absence of Ollie Leyland, if that is to be extended by anything. Crowther, Harrison, ball shown and then tries to take them on himself. Crowther slotting in, 9 out, Ratchford right at the heart of things. Curry again just putting it back to Dufty, and Dufty's appearing there in anticipation of maybe putting on some magical footwork, but dragged to the ground by Mikey Lewis. 1 play to go. Dufty slows it down with his complaints. Back to Ratchford, kick away. Oh, and Lewis, well, it wasn't a hard hit by any stretch of the imagination, but he certainly caught Stefan Ratchford. It wasn't nasty, and it was more of a brush, but Dufty took offence, Ratchford took offence, and the referee says it was an offence because he's given the penalty to Warrington.
Yeah, silly one as well. Mikey Lewis out of the blue and into the red here. He doesn't need to do it.
Yeah.
He really doesn't. And he's put his side under pressure. And Mikey Lewis, he's one of the stars of the game, but it was just needless.
I think there was a bit of building resentment here. This is the play the ball before the kick. Dufty, as always, and you can see Dufty's not happy. Dufty's coming racing after him, but
he just doesn't need the last part of it, David. It's simple enough. He's done his job. Stefan Ratchford's kicked the ball away. He just has a little nibble.
Crowther, Harrison now. Stoutly taking it forward. Crowther again, 10 metres away. 4 plays to go. Philbin, ooh, I think he thought he was close to the line there when the arm came flashing out, but... And another set. Referees restarted the count. The ball goes to ground. It's collected by Dufty. Dufty's just asking, do I have to take the tackle here? The referee says, yes, you do. Obstruction line ahead of you, so the play wasted, but still plenty to go because of that reset. Yates. Back to Harrison. Harrison fancies a go, pushing hard. Meters after contact. Pretty good. Meters away from the line. Not many. Ratchford. Philbin at Ken. Just throwing his body into this. It's Philbin of old here tonight. Back to Curry. Curry with a step. Can't get through. Crowther. Just picking the pass to Yates, who's being held on to sternly enough by Batchelor. In fact, it was Whitbread. Crowther again spinning it out. The chase comes on. It's put high in the air. The flight is terrific because it was just in the field of play. So there's no advantage of a leg up with a tap back on the 20, but this is a great run from Hiku.
That's a brilliant take from Tom Davis, and then Peter Hiku jumping off the back of it. A couple of big carries in that set from Philbin. You talk about places up for Wembley. Well, he looks like he's certainly giving his coach something to think about.
Here's Burgess. Burgess 35 metres out. Well, we saw Ollie Leyland going off, and as ever, Jenna's hot on the trail of the news on this. Jenna, what news?
Yeah, we saw him limp off, didn't we? It looked like it could have been a bad injury. It's certainly not as serious as first thought. I had a word to him, said he's okay. It's a leg injury, minor at this stage. They're trying to get him back on.
Thanks, Jenna. I tell you what, there's something cooking here with Mikey Lewis and the rest of Warrington tonight, isn't there? Because he was being chased down there when he put that high, and the whole Warrington crowd were up against him when Crowther got to him. In the meantime, Warrington have it back.
Yeah, surely Josh Hewlis was caught high there.
This is Russell. Pushed back. Dealt with, wrestled. So Crowther. Warrington with 3 gone, still very much entrenched in their own half. Harrison tries to make something of it, but not too many yards taken there. This is Dufty. Again, he's on the last. Needs to get up and play it as quickly as he can. It's back with Ratchford, and Ratchford does get it away with Hadley advancing, and at the other end, Morg catches and runs it back. A little bit of footwork on there to keep them guessing, but Yates rebalancing himself to make the tackle. There's a spin and a hit from Davis. Here's May. Hiku on that right-hand side. Again, footwork just gets him away from the first contact, but not much further. That look forward. But they get away with that, and Batchelor finds himself on the halfway line. Here's Litton. May. Lewis. Dummies. Pushes. But Roderick ties all over him. And now on the last, May puts it up there. Dufty covering some ground to get there and does very well. Started a long way back and immediately a threat there, but Burgess makes light of that with that big effort in defence. Ty hitting it back. I tell you what, this is a really good game, isn't it?
It is. Both sides completing around 90%. Set for set mentality.
We mentioned earlier the epic nature of their last meeting in the playoffs last year. Different context here tonight, but it has a similar intensity. Lindop tidying up. And Harrison off the long run, carrying it in.
Warrington find it difficult to make ground in this set. Going to be a kick from deep.
It's Curry who puts boot to ball. Morg has to cover some ground. The bounce makes it, well, initially it looked like it was going to make it awkward. It actually made it a little easier for him. Oh, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Russell, yeah. No escaping that penalty.
The footwork from the Frenchman, RD12. Just a late shift there. And the left arm of Russell just catches him high, just around the back of the head. And the penalty's given away. And you just felt that a penalty was almost the only thing that was going to disrupt this flow.
Well, if Hulkingston Rovers strutted into this, and I'm sure they didn't, but if they had strutted into this game thinking we are going to monster this match, they're just having that attitude knocked out of them a little, because Warrington are putting up a real good fight in what is a very good encounter.
I think you can go back to the first carry of the game from Joe Philbin, and you knew where the mentality was of the Wolves.
It's Minchella, up to May. Stepping forward is Whitbread. Litton, and Hadley shows and then decides to try and put on an arcing run, try and get on the inside of those Warrington defenders. Minchella, May again, they're travelling with intent here. Hiku had a very good period here as a Warrington player, didn't he, a few years back? Minchella. Lewis. Oh, and the short pass again, the angled run from Whitbread, but really good defending on the inside there. But they still have a threat here. The bouncing ball, May throws it over the top, and it's an easy one for Tom Davies to finish. The bouncing ball has done a defence again. Hulkingston Rovers probably deserve that, and they find themselves back in the lead.
Yeah, and it was Dan Russell who gave away the penalty on the fullback on the first play. The penalty given away. And then the line from Whitbread gets a quick play of the ball. You're right, the bounce favours Hull KR, and the ball over the top from May. The rainbow ball. And they're in again. You just see the pass. It was short. And Tom Davies goes flying in.
Generally okay, just throwing that ball back, keep working out, keep responding. You on the 10 as well, I heard you only in a few times. Okay, that extra step.
Well, I think there were any number of potential scorers there, weren't they, on the end of that?
And the ball through the middle from Jez Litton. Just popped up kindly for half-back Tyrone May.
Well, if that goes straight to Tyrone May's hands, you'd back Stefan Ratchford to close that down.
Yeah, for sure.
Having a good year, Tom Davies. As you can see, new signing this year from the Catalans, ex-Wigan. Once released from scholarship by Lee. So any youngsters who've just been or are about to be released on scholarship, there's a future for you, potentially. Tom Davies is living that dream.
So Artie Morg missed one similar on the opposite side of the field. The Jack Broadbent's try. He kicked 5 from 6 last week against Huddersfield. So he'll land the first one here this evening.
So Morg looking to strike, and the arms go up. It's often the indication the arms go up before the flags go up behind the sticks. His first of the night. 6 for Warrington, 10 for Hulkingston Rovers.
And sometimes the rugby league ball bounces in your favour. Stefan Ratchford just can't get hold of Tyrone May, but you can see there's just so much space for Tom Davies to collect that looping pass and just canter over.
So back ahead, but still a job to be done. Ratchford boots. And back they come with intent again, luckily with the drive.
It was his introduction last week and Kalepi Tanganoa that really changed the dynamic of the game. We were locked in at 4-0 for 50 minutes before the floodgates opened, but it was big carries from Sam Luckley and Kalepi Tanganoa that seemed to change it all.
There's Hiku. Here comes Litton. Hadley spinning in the tackle, but never an option of an offload. Too many arms wrapped around. Litton goes out, and Harrison gets hand on that. And it was hand on arm, because it's a knock-on. Well, that's a good intervention from James Harrison.
It is. It was a disappointing set after points for Hull KR. And he just loses the ball before Harrison even puts a hand on him. It just slips.
Yeah.
Saw something similar last night with Edwin Apape and Jez Litton. Those two players, they make more runs than anyone else from dummy half, and Jez Litton, he gets a little bit of a sense of a quick ruck. He's off, but he just spills the ball 40 metres away from his own end.
Offering Warrington a way back quite quickly after scoring the try that Gave them the lead, Hulkingston Rovers. So tie now. As Warrington with a full set inside their opponent's half. So if they can't break them down, the very least they'll be hoping for is a real attacking kick at the end of this. And this now is Russell. 2 carries to set things up. Crowther. Curry. To Harrison along the line. Ratchford. Dufty's appearing in there from full-back, but is repelled. Ratchford spinning it back in again for Adam Holroyd to try and carry it ever closer. Hulkingston Rovers defending back on their own line at the moment. And Harrison again, but it's a big shoulder from Litton. Put it where it hurt. Just rocks Harrison back again. Dufty kicking to that in goal area. It looks too deep. Looks too deep. The minute it came off the boot, it looked as though it was a boomer. And it's a tap back on the 20. And Davis wants to get on with this as quick. Well, he tapped. What did he tap that? You can't do that. He tapped the ball about 5 yards too far back. Have another go. Have another go. Third time lucky, Tom. There we go. And Warrington's defence by that stage is well set.
Yeah, just wanted to get on with it too quickly, forgetting to tap the ball. 7 tackle set, though, from that kick that was too heavy and too long from the fullback, Matt Dufty. And I think with 29 minutes gone on the clock, Dave, I think Sam Burgess will be pretty delighted with the score. Many people not giving them an opportunity in this game.
No. And as we were saying, the importance of this little period at the moment, they're just adrift, aren't they, of the top 6. They find themselves on 10 points. St Helens playing tonight on 12 and Saints winning, so they can't afford to lose too many to keep in that chase for the 6 and ideally for the top 3. And this period around Wembley with all the injuries, just an area of concern, you'd think, for Warrington. So a win here tonight, what would that do for them? But Hulkingston Rovers are leading the game, and they're searching for more. Lewis putting it up there. Dufty having a watch, Dewlis having a watch, and it's the winger who has it and wriggles away from nearly 2 defenders.
Elliot Minchella just asking about Tyrone May maybe being took off the ball. Moore's having none of it. It's not a bad way to end the set here. They were just inside that 10 by 10 metre box in that right-hand corner, and these are difficult carries now for the Wolves.
Russell again empowered, Lindop rather empowered to try and get that further away from the danger zone, but smothered by the oncoming Rovers defence, who are doing a job here in numbers. How many's that? 4 tackles, 2 to go. And
mistake,
Yates came at speed. There was no connection there. Max Wood on for the bench, picks it up, but the knock-on was previous to that.
Crowther just getting out and passing that ball to Yates, who can't take it in. They were really struggling for ground. There was 15 metres made inside of 4 tackles. Yates was tasked with just carrying the baton forward, and a deep kick was coming next, but he spilled the ball 25 metres away. The door of opportunity opens up again for the Robins.
Well, how about this? Hulkingston Rovers with a real chance. And they go right this time. And Hiku with that arcing run. Wrench has got to him. There's more support there as well. Lindop helping out. But play one, they're 10 away. Lewis and Hadley. Honestly and with endeavour. Litton. Lewis wants it again. There's 3 behind as they push for the line, but it's going to be Jay Whitbread who's held still 5 away. Here's Broadbent. And Lewis. And now May. But again, Warrington's defence just efficiently moving right to left. Just making sure that options are closed down. May again. Minchella. Trying to find the ground. And this is the last. They've not really over-threatened the Warrington line so far. The Wolves' defence has worked well. Lewis puts it up there. It's an inviting angle for May to try and get at. It's picked up by Thulis. Referee says play on. and it's the 0, and it'll be back to where it was, because no advantage, so Warrington go back to there.
Yeah, it'll be a handover there. The kick from Mikey Lewis. Tyrone May just knocks the ball forward, trying to compete with Roderick Ty. Well, the Wolves' defensive line was never really under any stress in that set.
So again, it's hard labour here from deep inside their own half. Tom Wood, he should have the freshest pair of lungs on the field. He's not been on the pitch that long. Harrison again just shifting it left cutely, but Yates makes a tiny indentation, but not a lot more than that. This is Harrison again. He's getting through some work here, isn't he? Carrying 10 from the halfway line, picked up by Crowther, left it goes, and Ratchford now looks on and behind to Wrench, and Wrench with a wonderful arcing run and puts the foot down and gets away. And this is brilliant from Conor Wrench. Eventually dragged down, but wonderful stuff from the centre. But they're on the last. Ratchford kicking it across field. Thewlis up there, corrects it, but under the circumstances looking for the miracle. And Lewis, with lovely feet, keeps himself in the field of play, but that doesn't last for long, because Ben Curry comes across with a crashing tackle. And Warrington have it back.
Sure do. Thewlis there, Mikey Lewis picks up and races away. There's neat bit of skill there to stay in the field of play, but he can't do so with Ben Curry making an important cover tackle. But what about the break here on the left edge from Conor Wrench? Returned last week, his first appearance since July in that loss to Wakefield, and he's showing exactly why he's at this club. A brilliant, talented young centre.
5 years since his debut, 42 appearances in that time, but a flash there that suggests that at the age, only 23, still relatively young, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He showed what he can do.
St Helens in control at Huddersfield, 22-0 they lead. Nobody in control here. It's nip and tuck, Warrington trailing, but in a position now to just put some doubts in this Kingston Rovers defence. This is Crowther. Harrison again, back it goes to Curry. Curry puts it back. Dufty senses the advancing defence and lobs it over the top. And Thewlis puts the kick on. It's got a whole KR touch here, and it's dropped on by Luckley. And a bit of fortune goes to Robin's way.
I think it was Jai Whitbread's arm.
Oh,
there's a break here.
Duck and a dart, and suddenly, they're advancing Artem Org with some intent, but Warrington's defence well able to recover, but then letting itself down by stepping offside and giving Kingston Rovers an easy outlet here.
Yeah, Artem Org, first of all, he slips through the net, and then a penalty given away. And inside of just one play, they're going to tap this ball 40 metres away from Warrington's line.
Well, from the edge of defence, they find themselves on the brink of attack here. Morg with a pass out, but
it was a penalty that led to the last try from Hull KR, and the 6 again's being called. Sam Luckley driving into Harrison.
Luckley with a push on tackle 1. Litton. We'll have to be patient here. The ruck's a bit of a mess. Now it comes out, and Morg again, and Harrison didn't miss. Came flying in. And I think Morg felt that. It's Minchella and May, and again good defending from Warrington to try and close these down, but Mikey Lewis escapes, the escapologist. Oh, he's magic, isn't he? Mikey, and he's done it again, and he takes the applause from those Kingston Rovers supporters. They've extended their lead.
Well, Mikey Lewis, on his 100th Super League appearance, gets an important try. He's averaging a try a game in season 2025. That's his 10th try of the season, and it came off a penalty again. And Tyrone May just able to pop that ball out, and then they just miss him. The right edge of Roderick Ty and Josh Thewlis. They can't close Mikey Lewis. Thewlis misses, Ty with the cover attempt, and Magic Mikey scores. The third try for Hull KR.
Cheers, Bennett.
With two minutes left on the clock. I feel that that's an important one.
He enjoyed that, didn't he? He enjoyed that. And you might have heard the reference that that Kyle made to keeping out of the red and in the blue with Mikey, and that's a reference to something he said in the podcast he did, the Bench podcast with Jenna and John a couple of weeks back. It's still out there. It's the most fascinating insight, I think, that Mikey Lewis has given, that interview that he did with those two, talking about his psychological battles, parenthood, all kinds of stuff. Thoroughly recommend that. Thoroughly recommend that. The next bench, by the way, Mike Rush coming out on Monday, the St Helens chief executive.
Yeah, we're just going back into the players' psyche. You know, physically, players with all the data, with all the sports science, with all the conditioning, they have more information than ever before to make sure that they're finely tuned. But what can be the difference is the mentality of certain players, the ones at the very top.
Morg with the kick. Oh, he's gone wide the other side. He's not having much luck from this side of the field. Remains 1 out of 3, but it remains 14 points to 6, an 8-point lead as a result of this.
Just Elliot Minchella ball playing, and then it's that combination again of May and Lewis. It just keeps getting better and better. And didn't he enjoy that one in front of the Hull KR fans?
He talks about the tattoo as well, which you can see is 4, not 6, which I think is a little bit of embarrassment. You can hear his explanation about that on the bench as well. They don't teach Roman numerals in school anymore, I don't think.
Is it the other
Kick
way?
again, they've hit the post. They've hit the post, creating confusion, and Harrison knocks it on in amongst all that. They were trying for that a little earlier, and this time it came off. Just aim at the posts, and whoever's underneath it is affected by that.
Oh, take a look at this.
Yeah. The crossbar challenge.
From the halfway line.
From the halfway line. Stefan Ratchford take a bow. Clearly in the game plan, because that's the second time he's tried to do that tonight. In the meantime, Morg is travelling.
He's so light on his feet, Dave, Artie Morg. He often beats the first man. And here's May. Now it's Minchella.
Chella up to the line, and Mikey Lewis now offs it back on the inside, and Kalepi Tuilangi. Kalepi Tuilangi with a Tanginoa. He's upended. And May kicks because he can see that Davis is running hard after this, but the ball bounces and beats everyone.
Yeah,
and that will be the last play. Another reason for putting that kick in.
Yeah, just trying to lift it over the top there for the right edge to chase, but it goes dead right on the hooter. And it's Hull KR who head into this one.
Well, it's as we expected. Hull Kingston Rovers leading at half-time, and he'll be relatively pleased with what he's seen. But I think Sam Burgess will be encouraged, because his side have been in the contest here right through that opening 40 minutes. Half-time, it's Warrington 6, Hull Kingston Rovers 14. Loves the game of rugby league or want to see George Williams playing on the big stage, whether you're a Warrington fan or not. Even if you're a Hull KR fan, you know, let's play the best.
Oh,
and if we win the competition, we won it against the best.
Yeah, you want all your brightest stars shining in the big games. And George Williams, a sensational player. And he'll be looking to have a successful season with the Warrington Wolves before turning his attention to the Ashes later on.
So Ratchford with a kick away, and again he's looking for that crossbar, isn't he? Just drops underneath it this time. But Hull Kingston Rovers safely back in possession and looking to build on what they have achieved so far. An 8-point lead, that try late from Mikey Lewis in the first half. Well, that might have a really big impact on this game, because a 10-6 game suddenly became a 14-6 game, and that intricacy of the extra points meaning it's a 2-score game in terms of Warrington getting back in and into the lead. And out of dummy half and behind the 40-metre mark, that is kicked away by Jez Litton. He didn't quite have the strength on that, but I tell you, it tickled that touchline, didn't it? And Dufty would have been very relieved to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, he flirted with the sideline there for a 40-20. The brakes were applied just as the ball bounced. And Thewlis on play 2. Wanting a quick play of the ball, but can't quite get one. Roderick Ty, a bit of a mixed bag for him from the opening 40.
I think there's something strange happening out there, Kyle, which we've not seen for a while. It's raining. It's raining for the first time in weeks. Drought's over, folks. Get your hose pipes out. Harrison, there you go. Rain from the skies. Harrison with a drive. Crowther is in. Back to Ratchford. Again, that's the perfect spiralling kick there, which
well taken.
Just had Davis wondering which way to go, but he chose the right way.
He's come up with a couple of those, Stefan Ratchford, just really trying to test the back three of the Robins. Davis collects.
Here's Lewis. Looking left again, and Hulkington Rovers looking to make advances again. 1 or 2 arms in air there. The contact, okay, I thought that might have been a penalty, but not the case. Minchella back inside for Jai Whitbread, and Whitbread romps another 10 metres or so, and taking Hulkington Rovers ever closer. 2 plays to go. May puts it back to Lewis. Lewis attracting defenders. So here comes the last. This is Lytton. Tyro May, who sticks it up there in the air, and Dufty. Oh, and he did well to take it, but when he did take it, the flight of the ball meant that he was easy pickings for those chasing defenders.
Yeah, it was a wonderful chase from Burgess and Artie Morg. Burgess coming in off his wing. He knows he can't quite get there for the catch, so the next best thing to do is apply pressure to Dufty, and he does so, drags him over the dead ball line. They're going to get another set here inside the opening exchanges of the second half.
Ratchford, well, the last dropout, I think, was that dropout at Newcastle when he went short, and that's offside, surely. Well, the referee says play on. It looked like it hit Davis's legs and then was picked up. Yep, he's got it late. The touch judge helped him out. And the penalty goes Warrington's way.
Yeah, good spot. You can see Rashford goes for the short dropout, and it comes off Davis's leg into Ches Lytton, who stood about a metre in front of him. An accidental offside, and the penalty are given away, and what looked like Warrington were going to have to defend 6 more on their own line. They're now 30 metres away and a little bit of breathing room.
So Warrington looking to escape. We heard what George Williams thought Sam Burgess might have said at half-time. Let's hear a bit more detail now from Jenna on the half-time talks.
I did, Dave, get to have a word with Sam. He said that there's loads of energy, loads of effort, really happy with that half. He said that the game plan's working, so stick to it, Willie Peters. He felt that his side lost a bit of control in periods of that half, and when that happened, they let Warrington get back into it. So just a matter of taking back control. I just want to go back to Ollie Leyland. We saw him limp off in the first half. It is a knee injury, unlikely to return.
Wrench again, just threatening to make something happen on this left-hand side. Ratchford, that Ollie Leyland news, the only half on the field, established half on the field in Warrington colours. 1 play to go. Crowther, makeshift dummy half to Ratchford, to Curry, to Dufty, and now Ty, and Ty puts on the pace and just shrugging off defenders. He's rolling through them. And it's a penalty, high tackle on Ty.
Yeah, another penalty given away. Roderick Ty rides the first tackle, gets caught high. And Mikey Lewis just coming underneath the ball, working hard, but working too hard. A penalty given away. And the Wolves will have a little bit of possession now down near the Rovers line.
What can they make of this? Dan Russell, try scorer. First time we've had the chance to say that while he's been wearing claret and blue tonight. But on that occasion, 5 out when he stopped. It's moved to Ratchford. This is Yates, just attracting defenders as he takes the ball. So Crowther waits again, and there's a bit of blood. I think Ches Lytton's got a bit of blood, hasn't he? So bandage not doing its job. So spotted by the referee, Aaron Moore. He'll have to get that sorted. I think Aaron Moore's saying get off the field. Ches Lytton's staying on. Seems to be happy with that now. A chance for discussion. Lytton gets patched up. Just covering up the bandages with more bandages.
See head-on-head contact there from Dan Russell on that carry. Two players earlier. Just splits Jez Lytton.
He's okay. Back in the defensive line. Warrington go again. There's lots of bodies on the field at the moment. Water carriers, coaching staff, they've all disappeared now as Warrington take it on again, and Harrison again, who's really rolled his sleeves up tonight, hasn't he, and got himself in the midst of the workload. Crowther, Ratchford, just attracting the attentions of Batchelor, and Batchelor doing his job. So another play gone, but there are still 2 to go. Crowther, this is Yates trying to straighten it up. Not a lot of artistry out there. The artistic players are on the sidelines. It's pure bludgeoning efforts at the moment with 1 to go, and a spin and an urge for that line by Max Wood. Hulkington Rovers hang on, and a big roar of approval from those Rovers fans.
Yeah, but there wasn't really an awful lot to defend in that set. Max Wood just gets caught a metre shy of the line. They just put enough bodies in there.
The referee wants this ball played again because things weren't set as he wanted. And Davis is the man who takes the carry. Initially it was Burgess. This is Burgess. It's the workers, the wingers' workload these days, isn't it? They put their bodies on the line, trying to explode out of those dangerous situations. Hiku's done well as well. So 3 tackles gone, and Hulkington Rovers are advancing well, and Lytton improves on that with a scamper out of dummy half. Here's May. Lewis. Well, he's behind a 40. So he's optimistic if he was looking for a 40-20. Backpedaling Thewlis and takes it back in, and Hulkington Rovers are smartly up there.
Yeah, Thewlis was on his bike early on in that set. He knew that Mikey Lewis was going to maybe have a crack at a tackle-for kick for that 40-20.
Crowther eventually takes the ball. Philbin again, crashing forward. That tornado effect that he's had times in his career. Wood again. Another stout carry. This is turning into a decent set because 3 gone. They're covering some meters here. Going from back to front. Ratchford, now Dufty, and Wrench again. Who's been showing some spark tonight, hasn't he, Conor Wrench?
Yeah, he's been out a long time. He's come up with a couple of nice plays.
Ratchford's kick into a little bit of open space, but Burgess got across there well enough. Warrington defenders get in there very quickly. OKR again starting from there.
And they're just turning the screw a little bit at the Wolves at the moment. And in the sets down the right end of the field. Burgess with a neat take. Here comes Broadbent. Well met there. 3 players in that tackle.
Push. But no, not far. Lytton getting in there. Again, athletic effort. They try and lift the pressure here, but only 1 to go. And again, they're going to need something special off the boot of Mikey Lewis, who gets it away. Harrison was all over him, but Lewis gets it away. Fair contest. Dufty running it back. That is a good chase from the Rovers line. Hulkington Rovers making more tackle busts at the moment, but you can see that they play the balls in the opposition 20. A point that John Wilkie was highlighting at half-time. 19 now for Warrington, but they've not got a lot to show it in terms of scoring returns. But they're building pressure, is what they'll argue.
But I think Warrington have won the opening 10 minutes here in terms of territory. But it's important that they can make them OKR pay. So far down that end of the field, they just haven't really had enough about them to register any points. Here comes Philbin.
Philbin again. Lively, athletic, but dealt with. Curry to Ratchford, whose kick is to Lindop. Lindop wasn't given much chance to move there, and it's Sue who picks it up. And Well, if he's going to go 50 metres, he's going to have to batter his way through, and Conor Wrench felt the ferocity of that first contest. If it had dropped to a speedier Merchant, it could have been disastrous for Warrington.
Another credit to Asosu, just keeping moving underneath the ball. And Lindop throws it back inside. He's the first one there on the scene. And the big fend there.
Get off me, get off me.
Conor Wrench just getting his face in the wrong place.
Step again as they attempt more drag down, but only 5 away. He's a wriggly character, threatening to thread a way through. Hiku now collects, back to the middle. May, the reach by Litton. Lewis is going again with a miss. Pass is a thing of beauty, and the finish might be special as well. Burgess unbalanced, looked like he was running out of play. Inevitably, we're going to the video referee. First time tonight. 51 minutes play. We're off to the video referee.
We have a no try on field for the ruling on touch. Can we just do this nice and slow? So you can clearly see that he's in the field of play. He's still in the field of play as he jumps. Let's go from here. Keep it going. Right, you just need to go back on that. So you can clearly see here on this angle he's in the field of play. We go nice and slow. Nice and slow. You can see the ball is down on that point, and at no part of him is in the field, is out of the field of play. Just jog that one back just to make sure. Right, so he's going down there. Right, let's have a tighten angle on the ball, so he's not in touch on that. Does he regain full control of the ball? Does he keep control of the ball? If you keep going down on that, thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, that was spectacular for so many reasons. The initial pass was delightful. The finish was defying the laws of physics.
It even looked even better when it was slowed down. The skill to squeeze that ball in the corner. As the big screen tells you, it's a try, a Joe Burgess try. Artie Amor plays here on the opposite side of the field. That's the 13th play of the ball inside their opposition 20, and they've registered 4 tries. Defensively not good enough from the Wolves, but let's pay all the credit to the attack. Joe Burgess, who squeezes over in the corner. The ball comes from right to left. Jez Litton out to Lewis, but then goodness me, Dave, what a ball that is. Strips 2 defenders, and the finish is exquisite in the corner.
To get the ball from one hand to the other, because he knew if it stayed in the left hand, it's going to be no try. To get it into that right hand was, well, in amongst all of that was just one moment of magic, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Mikey Lewis just driving hard at Ben Curry. Ty gets caught looking in. Thewlis does what he's meant to do and follows in, but the pass had to be on the money, and it was. And that's been the pick of the tries this evening.
Artemorg with a kick from the touchline, looks to sweep it in, and no, it remains 1 from 4, 6-18. So it's still only a 2-score game, but what a score this was.
Yeah, all the key players touching the ball. May, Litton, Lewis, and then Burgess to get over. 4 tries in the last 3 games for that man. He's one of the best wingers in the competition this season.
Dexterity was incredible. He needed the right arm free to touch off Ty's head, didn't he, to make sure he wasn't going to be tackled. But then to smuggle it back into that right hand to score. Wow. Wow. So big job now for Warrington. But hoping that they can fight back here. 12 points the difference. Davis now. Here's Litton. Again, just carted in with real power and purpose, meaning that Holkingston Rovers are advancing back towards the halfway line again here. So, his name echoing around the Holkingston Rovers end of things as he takes that in, and it's not going to be a 40-20 here because Litton There's only 5 away, and in fact it's going to be a bit of a disaster because it's a tap back on the 20 for Warrington.
Well, you say a disaster, Dave, but look at all the Warrington players. They're having to get back behind the ball. There'll be zero shade, but look at Hull KR. They're ready to set. Sometimes a kick from deep inside your own half, if it travels over the dead ball line, I don't think that's as bad as a result as what you might think.
Well, it used to be a tactic, hence the 7-tackle restart, wasn't it? But
they're that fit now that I don't think one more tackle really is going to hurt them.
Harrison. That is a second in this count. 10 short of the halfway line. Crowther again at dummy half. And across the line it goes. Curry to Dufty. Dufty caught by the first man in there, who just happens to be Mikey Lewis, with a tackle down low. Crowther again. Curry. Kingston Rovers defence coming out quite quickly there. All in a line, keeping Warrington's options to an absolute minimum. Ratchford. Well, this is Philbin. And there's only 1 to go. So Ratchford again is going to be forced to kick here. Just the ball bouncing, and Moore getting a foot on that, and is unable to control it. Well, the awkward bouncing ball. I mean, we talk about a high kick, the spiral kicks, but you know what? That awkward bouncing ball can cause problems.
And on the 7th play in that set as well, Dave. So I take it all back.
The extra tackle does count.
Well, to Morg. If he had his time again, he maybe just would have went for it on the full. The bounce of the ball just gets away from him. The ball spilled. And the Wolves will get another set.
Well, Wembley is the generic cry from, I think, both sets of fans, because they will meet each other in a couple of weeks at that fine stadium in the cup final. But in the rain in Warrington on a Friday night, we're playing out a rather key Super League game. Hull KR go 4 clear at the top with a win. Warrington climbing back towards touching distance of the 6th, if they can get back into this. "15 away. Crowther. Little ball away to Philbin again. Philbin dealt with. Whitehead with a short pass. Oh, and it ricochets. Harrison can't take it in. Whitehead's pass not connecting. Kingston Rovers congratulate themselves again.
Yeah, and it was a shot there from Kalepi Tanganoa. You just see he gets in the eye line of Harrison. It's a difficult take between 2 huge bodies in Sawaso Su and Kalepi Tanganoa, and Mikey Lewis straight over to the left edge back rower to congratulate him. And the Wolves attack amounts to nothing once more.
Just why we have a slight break here. Just a quick mention of 2 sad passings this week as well, both with Warrington connections. Mark Jones, the former Welsh dual code international, most of his rugby league career at Hull, but he had a season at Warrington, passing away at the dreadfully early age of 59 years earlier this week. And Jackie Edwards has also passed away, age 85. The fact that he retired as a player at the age of 24 because of injury. Oh, and we break off from that because Morg now has a chance on the inside, and this will finish it. Tyrone May runs away and touches down. They've gone 90 metres with barely a hand laid on them. They've crafted another bit of wonderful play, and Hull Kingston Rovers surely now heading for win number 11 of this season.
Yeah, David, it's a sign of a real confident team, moving the ball from deep inside of their own half. And Tyrone May got a first try of the season last week. Well, he's just got another one. It was a neat play down this right edge. We just see the knock-on from Harrison, the shot, or the eye line of the shot from Tanganoa. Just means that they get a scrum 10 metres away, and then the next play is Peter Hiku, who just skips up and away, attracts Lindop, and then the ball back on the inside from Morg. Hiku in arrival again, and Tyrone May with 25 metres ahead of him. Nobody was going to catch him from there. Just look at Hiku, the subtlety of movement there, and Artie Morg popping up on the right edge. A little 1-2 between Hiku and Morg. Tyrone May the beneficiary of it. Brilliant score.
Yeah, crafted superbly, wasn't it? And they are on the charge now. Warrington needing to dig deep for what remains of this game. A huge smile on the former Warrington man's face there. But Tyrone May, the man who finished it off, looking for a third consecutive grand final appearance this year, and the way things are standing at the moment, you would not bet against that. Here's Morg to add the 2, and this time it does squeeze in, and it's 24 points to 6 that Holkington Rovers currently lead the game.
The team that's running white hot. But just the subtlety there, the skip up, Holroyd, he does him, stands him up, Lindop gets caught, turned in, he has to come in as well. And like all good teams that are in free flow, they just have numbers filing through. Willie Peters applauds that one.
Yeah. And he's scratching his head again. How do we get back from this? What are the thoughts? Do we get back from this?
Well, he's rolled the dice, Sam Burgess, hasn't he? He's made a bold approach to this game, putting all of his eggs into one basket, perhaps going after the cup with resting a couple of those players.
That's a short kick. The kickoffs have been special from Warrington, and look where they've travelled straight away. Geordie Crowther fell 5 out, and they've got 6 tackles from here as the referee waves his arm above his head. Whitehead now going closer. Young man on the field, Ben Hartle, not his debut tonight, not a familiar name, I wouldn't have thought, to many outside Warrington. He did make his debut in the game against Wigan last year, just before the cup final, and here he is again, another Super League appearance. Young fella, and Curry, and here's Dufty, and Dufty with a little kick to the corner, and Thewlis gathers and finishes. We're going back to the video referee. He thinks try on the field. Let's hear again from Ben Thaler.
Okay, the live column field, we have a try. Can we just pause it on the foot, please? And you can clearly see there the players that we need to look at are on side. So we just need to go in before this and make sure there's no knock-on or anything like the Warrington players. So go on from there. That's fine, that's play on. Nobody's touched that ball. Warrington definitely haven't touched it. So let's go on from here. He's picked it up clean at that point. He's still got possession of the ball there. He still has possession of the ball there. Keep it going on that one. Can we have another look from the other camera angle, please? On this one, this is probably the best angle. He's got it in his right hand. He's still got the ball in his right hand. And the ball is grounded. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, there we go, clear evidence on the pictures. And Warrington are not quite out of it yet. Kick the goal, they're still only 2 scores behind.
Yeah, and it's off them kickoffs, isn't it, that's caused OKR a couple of problems. They get the ball back before Thewlis gets over, the try's confirmed. And Josh Thewlis, he registers his 3rd try of the season. He missed last week's drubbing over at Wakefield. We're back in the side this week. And registers a score that just gives the Wolves a little bit of hope. It's his conversion attempt.
Can he turn 4 into 6? They need him to turn 4 into 6, and he can. Wow, wow. And that just does put a different picture on the proceedings, because 12-24 is not insurmountable with 19 minutes left to play.
It certainly isn't, but it was the kickoff collected by Geordie Crowther. And then Matt Dufty's kick. He just drives hard, gets past Lewis, and the kick goes in between Broadbent and Burgess, and Thewlis is just on the end of it. It's a gift for him. He just has to catch and collect that ball and dot it down, and he does. And 12 points in the game now.
Sorry, Kyle. Injecting life back into the contest. Is there life in the other match tonight at Huddersfield? Well, that suggests not. Huddersfield 0, St Helens 28. So Saints, as we mentioned earlier, climbing up to 4th on the back of that because of their superior points difference on Leeds.
Oh,
that's high, penalty.
Yeah.
And Warrington will be given a leg up back downfield again here.
It's an important period for Hull KR. You just see the little show and go there. It does Hadley. He moves off thinking that that ball's going. Crowther decides to keep hold, and the left arm catches him round the head. And the crowd underneath us, and they're sensing a real momentum shift here.
Well, Ollie Leyland had a chance tonight maybe to play himself into Wembley, thinking if injuries continued for Warrington, but, well, he's now an injury concern. As you can see, went off in that first half, leg in ice. But Warrington coping with that new signing from this season, and again Philbin just crashing in.
Yeah, he's been Warrington's best tonight, Philbin.
Out of dummy half goes the young fella, Hartill, scampering. Opportunity for him tonight. Crowther, it's with Curry. Curry shrugging off one attempted tackle, taking them to within 5. A real air of expectancy now around this stadium. Concern amongst those Hulkingston Rovers supporters. Crowther again, Ratchford, Dufty, Wrench, but it's a strong effort from Tom Davis.
Oh, a brilliant read there from Davis.
This is the last. Ratchford the go-to man, inevitably. Kick is high, Burgess didn't know whether to come or go. It's kept alive to Ty, who puts the kick in. There's a ricochet. The ball goes to ground. The referee says Hull KR touch, knock on. Oh, and then Warrington knock on. Hull KR's touch had given Warrington another 6. But Warrington in that melee have lost it.
Roderick Ty tries to kick through it, ricochets off Artie Morg, recollected there by Crowther. Oh, and he just looks like he's in a bit of pain.
Oh,
that right leg, sorry, underneath him. He lets go of the ball. And that's a concern for Burgess.
It's a huge concern. Well, it's a tough game, isn't it? You don't get any charity if you're in the worst of pain. If you lose the ball, you lose the ball. And a look of frustration, I think we saw there, glimpsing on the face of the coach, because he knew that a set of 6 there, my goodness, we got a game.
Yeah. And you just feel that if Geordie Crowther lets go of that ball, Dave, he must be in an enormous amount of pain. And we hope he's well.
A school of thought amongst some tough nuts.
Let's see how it all unfolds here. It's Hadley. It just looks like his right ankle.
Yeah. Well, on his feet, so that's encouraging, but he's going off the field. So they lose another. My goodness, the injuries are mounting up, aren't they? They're digging deep into the reserves at the moment. Look at that talent pool that's watching another one limping off.
There's a hefty amount of salary cap sat there. The 12 points the difference.
Some good ones there, aren't they? But Hulkingston Rovers have got a bit of a reprieve because they were going to be under pressure. And this is we talked about the first 10 minutes. Well, they're just as potent in the last 20 minutes, because 20 tries this season from this point on. But Warrington are not far behind them, so we've got a points fest in this next 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Forward pass. Warrington do have it back. A roar of relief from the Warrington fans. They get the chance to attack again.
Yeah, overran, overcooked there from Jack Brown. Ches Litton just throws the ball forward. It was a similar theme last week, Dave, when they played Huddersfield, that they kind of toyed about a bit in that second half through discipline.
I hope that's not his pint, the young fella. But here, Warrington, 6 plays to have a go, to get themselves back within immediate striking distance. Wrench taking it in. Hartill, unfamiliar name, out of dummy half. Holroyd, bit-part players combining here in this last season or so, trying to drag this iteration of Warrington back into this contest. Philbin rounded up by 4. Hartill again. Curry's gone to his right, and it's switched back towards the middle, and Whitehead and Ratchford's involved. And Off to Wrench again, and he's not sure where to go. He tries to go between the three of them down the middle, but they were more than a match for that. Holroyd back to Ratchford. Ratchford now up to the line. Curry again pops it over the top. Ty's got a bit of space in which to run here, trying to drag defenders his way. Fulis puts the brakes on, skids back towards the middle. They're round him, a big umbrella of defenders. They're crying for a high tackle. Referee says not. So this is the last. Dufty's in there, puts it in, and Morg just drops on it, safety first, but he concedes the dropout. There's more pressure to come.
Yeah, there sure is. A knee kick from Dufty there, the chase as well. Traps Artie Morg in the in-goal area. We're going to get another set. We mentioned just moments ago that both of these two sides like registering points in the final exchanges of the game. Well, it's the Wolves that look rampant at the moment.
14 minutes and counting. Hark back to that game against Wigan at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, and they came through with the streamers flying and the trumpets blaring in the last few minutes, did Warrington. They couldn't quite get over the finishing line in first place on that occasion, but can they wrest their way back into this on this occasion?
I don't think I've seen Joe Philbin play this well for a number of years.
Yates stoutly does it. That's three. Platform laid. Working from either side. Hartill. This is Philbin. Arrowing back to where the ball came from, hoping that they'd clocked off, but they hadn't. Hartill again. Ratchford suddenly running to that right-hand side to create numbers over there. The ball's dropped again. It's picked up by Ty. He tries to offload it. It surely goes forward. Referee says play on. Yeah, he goes back. He goes back. He took his time to think about that.
I was thinking.
Put everybody's hearts in their mouth. But it was inevitable.
Yeah, loose pass there. Roderick Ty just trying to keep the ball alive, and it goes forward off him. Right, the referee took a long time to blow his whistle.
This was probably thinking, oh, this is forward. Hang on, play on. And then suddenly the whistle went. So just finishing that thought on Chucky Edwards, because it is important. 24 years of age when he retired from playing in the mid-60s. And even though he was 24 when he retired playing, many consider him one of the best players of his generation. Warrington is in their Hall of Fame. Talk about him as one of the greatest Warrington players. So that tells you how good he was. Sean's dad, of course. And our condolences to everybody attached to the Edwards family, and of course to the Jones family as well, Mark Jones as well.
It's the same play again, but Hiku holds the ball.
Hiku doing really well, and an offload as well to find Morg in eager anticipation, and Morg now skipping and dancing, and Dufty says enough of that, down you go.
It was almost deja vu again on the right edge of the field. This time Hiku holds on to it. And they're still coming forward here. It's Tyrone May exploring, searching for a pass. Dumps the ball.
We thought they had it in the bag when Tyrone May scored a few moments ago, but they haven't quite. Another score here surely should seal the deal. Minchella's pass. Lewis goes chasing after it, got a hand to it, but it went backwards. They've lost an awful lot of ground. There was some untidiness there. They've lost about 20 metres, 15 metres, and they've only one play to go. This is May, sticks it high in the air. Ball bounces off bodies and comes backwards from OKR's point of view. Still going backwards, still the sixth tackle. And now Tyrone May hoiks it out there. Davis kicks and chases. Again, it's too far. And Warrington get the ball back on the 20. Coach is a little concerned.
Yeah, but look at this again, the skip up from Hiku. This time it was Luke Yates in his eye line. A smart spot from him, knowing that a middle is defended on the short side. He exposes it, or nearly does rather.
That's Ty. Hartill. Warrington regrouping. Just getting the strength of minds together to make sure that they can put on a real challenge in what's left of the game. Philbin to Ratchford. Bit of old school Warrington involvement in that. Lindop back to Ratchford again. Curry, Dufty, he's got the skates, but he can't find the gap. Lewis all over him, and he's knocked on in that.
Mikey Lewis harassing Matt Dufty, and he does enough just to land on the top of him. I think the weight from him just means it spills out on that greasy, wet surface. A loose carry from Dufty.
Less than 10 minutes to play. Jenna, what news over there?
Yeah, some relatively good news for Warrington. Geordie Crowther there, you saw him limp off a few minutes ago. He went straight down the tunnel. He's been assessed. He's come back out. He's all right. Look, he just said it there. He's okay. It is an ankle, slight ankle issue. But as you just heard him say there, it's okay.
It's okay. And a big smile as well. Good to see. Still a game that's potentially to be won and lost. Hulkingston Rovers by 12 at the moment. You'd think that's enough. And they have ball in hand. With less than 9 to play now. May. Here's Batchelor sizing up what's ahead of him. Slamming in that tall frame. Just holding on as the wrestle comes in. Needs to work another couple of metres out of it as well. Lytton now. Minchella back on the inside. Back to his feet, and it's with Minchella again. And here's May, and a lovely little sleight of hand dummy from him. Morg, but a scramble by Warrington's defenders. Hiku, Minchella. This is May, and here's Mikey Lewis, and Lewis with that trademark dummy and step, but they've read it. They've looked at the playbook, they knew what was coming.
Yeah, Ben Curry not falling for that one.
Broadbent, May, Minchella with a kick, the chase is on, but Dufty does have that, but he's being dragged back inside that own in-goal area, and that's good work from Hulkingston Rovers.
Yeah, it is, the kick from Minchella and the chase through there. There's 3 Hull KR players just to meet Matt Dufty straight away, and that's applying pressure, Dave.
Coolness personified by Elliot Minchella.
Make it so difficult to defend against when you've got May, Lewis, Lytton and Minchella all able to kick the ball.
Short again from Stephen Ratchford, but Lytton gets a good pair of hands on that to push it back safely for May to pick up, and
it's a good shot there.
Jack Brown to take it in.
Ben Hartill giving him the right shoulder.
Get that in your ribs. But they're happy to be here, Hulkingston Rovers. Running the clock down at the very least. At the very best, this might offer a scoring opportunity. And here is Hiku, and Davis will win it. Tom Davis over at the corner. No doubts now. Hulkingston Rovers are going 4 top, 4 clear at the top. They're all smiles from East Yorkshire. And Tom Davis with a winning moment.
Yeah, he gets his second of the evening. And again, you just see Max Wood not able to apply any pressure to Minchella, and there's just numbers and options all around May. And in the end, he just does the double show. Gives the ball out to Hiku, who's been a threat all evening, but a catch and pass on Lindop means Davis just goes over and wins the game. There's 3 scores now that the home team have to chase. And they've been spirited, that has to be said. But ultimately, a consistent theme for the Wolves in 2025 is just their inability to defend their own try line. And it's been shown once again, but this time by the league leaders. Hull KR at the moment, 28 points to 12. With a kick to come, they could hit the 30.
Well, it has been a history-making start to the season, hasn't it, Hulkingston Rovers? Just the 1 defeat this year in League and Cup. That at home to Wigan a couple of weeks ago, that will hurt. But otherwise, it has gone to plan. It's going to be 11 wins out of 12 in the league. They're in the final of the Challenge Cup. The first half of the season has been superb from their point of view. Fascinating to get the thoughts of JJB and John Wilkin with Brian at the end of this, and fascinating as well to see in amongst all of this whether Sam Burgess is going to give us anything on his links with Perth. So stay tuned, because there could be some interesting things coming out. You never know. Morg stepping up, hitting it well and finding the target. Cherry on the cream on top of the cake. 30 points to 12 with minutes left to play.
And just inside of 5 minutes left. And again, key players touching the ball at the right parts of the field. Tim Davis slides over for a relatively simple score, but he'll tell you it was all the work on the inside that created the opportunity for him. And Stefan Ratchford's caused a couple of tricky kicks from restarts. Will we see another one? Will he go for the crossbar? No, he goes into the corner.
Well, the evolution of this whole Kingston Rovers team, you remember last year when they played here and they had a big win, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we said, have they now kind of, have they got belief in themselves to go on to get to a grand final from that performance? This year, it doesn't surprise us what they've done here tonight.
No,
I know it's a different Warrington team, but nonetheless.
You know, look, where we are now, you'd be a fool to think it wouldn't be anything else other than a Wigan and Hull KR grand final rematch. There's still plenty of rugby to be played. There's a couple of minutes left in this game, and
Lewis
Lewis goes
again, tearing a hole. He's got so many in support, he can take his pick. And, well, the tackle comes in. I think it was Richardson who was dragged down. But they seem to be queuing up there, and any one of them was a potential scorer. Batchelor has the ball knocked out of his hands. Lost the ball in the tackle, the referee says, so Warrington have it back. But Mikey Lewis again with a blistering break.
Oh, he's quality, isn't he? Even when he's have quiet games, he still always finds a way, a moment in a game.
Deal with a carry. Hull KR fans in terrific voice at the moment. For the game tonight, Huddersfield have got themselves on the scoreboard, but it's a convincing win for St Helens. Their points difference helped, of course, by that massive win against Salford on the very first weekend, but St Helens' points difference is not too shabby, not far behind Wigan and Hull Kingston Rovers. Hartel across. 3 minutes to play. Ratchford sticking it up there, asking a few questions, getting a bounce. Richardson catches. Davis looking to escape. Here's Hiku. It's bumping into him. Damaging for Warrington tonight, being without halves, being without a recognised dummy half for the most of the game, only having one recognised half-back as well.
You'd have to say, Dave, if we're honest, there's not a lot to recognise, really. Right down that team list, you know, so many players out injured or potentially looked after for bigger games that are coming ahead, no more so in the cup final in a couple of weeks. Offload there from Hiku. They're keeping this alive with Morg.
Well, look at this, and Luckley is on the gallop, bumped to the ground, one to go, but they're going to go right down the middle with a kick and the chase from Burgess. He might have been, well, he came off the left wing, but he might have been better to look towards the left wing because there's plenty of numbers over there.
And he went for broke on his own, Burgess, but you can afford to do that. 30 points to 12 up away from home. Crucially, another 2 points as they sit with that 4-point buffer. You know, Wigan's game to Catalan. Obviously, with the change in guard, Joel Tompkins, the story's all there to be written. It's not perhaps as an easy game as many of the Warriors fans might be thinking. Always a difficult place to go in the south of France. But the Hull KR will sit 4 points above.
Warrington are going to finish the week again in 9th position. And what might be slightly alarming for them, if Cass get a win at Leeds, and it is ifs, but you know, Cass were considered as one of the three that had just been cut adrift. Cass win at Leeds, they're only 2 points behind Warrington. Oh, and that is a terrible moment for Ben Curry. Just a complete lack of concentration, and look at that frustration.
Well, you're right to mention about the league position of the Wolves, and that's my point I was trying to make earlier. You know, you could be forgiven for drawing comparisons of those with Ange Postecoglou of Spurs. You know, he said about throwing all of his eggs into that cup win and trying to rescue what's been a difficult season. The same could be said for the Wolves, you think.
St Helens win tonight, but surely it will be a win, will mean that Warrington are 3 points adrift off the top 6. Going up against Castleford next week, that could be huge. Mikey Lewis is going for the one-pointer. Whoa, he boomed that one, didn't he? That just flew off the boot, and the last moment of the match is the drop goal from Mikey Lewis. Unnecessary, other than typical of his cheeky style. He's like a little glass of spilt milk, isn't he? Not much of it, but he gets absolutely everywhere. He's had highs and lows tonight, magic moments, cheeky moments, dreadful moments, but it all balances out into a wonderful win for Hull Kingston Rovers. Warrington damaged by those injuries, but disappointingly defeated tonight. His side marching on again in great confidence. It's finished Warrington 12, Hull Kingston Rovers 31.